Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
Before we begin today's incredibly feral and very unplanned episode, we wanted to give a shout out to our feral venerator of soiree, Lurks.
Hey everybody, so as you know, Queers of Time is myself, Matt, James, Camille, and Kat. However, today we have a very special guest, Chad, the queer Taviran, and that is because Camille is currently stalking Moraine in the tower, whispering, "Mommy, Mommy, I want you, Mommy." And Kat is currently chasing Nynaeve through the dream world. So they were neither of them available, and we found a rabid, disheveled raccoon in the dumpster behind our podcast headquarters, and his name is Chad, and he is here to talk to us about his awesome project, the Queer Wheel of Time read-through.
Where exactly is the Queers of Time headquarters, Matt?
In Shielgussie.
Of course.
Of course it's in Shielgussie.
Of course it is.
Perfect. That's just great. And we're done. No.
That's a wrap. Actually, this has been great. Really enjoyed my time here. I will be leaving now.
Honestly, I can't blame you. Shortest episode ever, but whatever. So yeah, let's kind of, because the reread is kind of how Matt and I started talking for regular Queers of Time listeners, but it's also how we started to get to know Chad at the same time. So what kind of prompted you to do a reread, Chad?
So I've been a big fan of the Wheel of Time pretty much my whole life. And when the show was airing, I decided I wanted to do a reread after the show was over to kind of reflect on how well they did the show and, make those comparisons and whatnot. And honestly, it was just like a spur of the moment thing. Like one night I was just at home and I was like, I think I want to do this. I think I'm going to try to do it. I sent out a tweet. And then, within 48 hours, I set up the Discord server. I had never used Discord before. I just, literally the most chaotic thing of my life. I was just like, sure, let's figure it out. I'm gonna do it. And then James was nice enough actually to reach out to me and kind of helped me set things up after I set it up. And it was fine. It was a decent run at it for my first time ever doing something like that. But James was actually really helpful in kind of getting it set up to be functional.
Hear that, everyone? I do the bare minimum to make things functional.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's kind of how we all met, really. That's how I started talking to James and Matt and Camille. Kat I didn't meet until recently. I didn't really meet her until recently. We started playing D&D together through Epic Fail on Twitter. She started a D&D Discord server, and Kat and I joined the campaign together. We're both from Toronto as well, so that's kind of cool.
And yet you haven't met.
No, we have not. I've never actually met Kat before in person. I have met you two, for better or worse, in person. That was interesting. It was a good weekend.
It was a wonderful weekend full of memories and anger.
Yeah.
Wait, what weekend?
This past weekend where we all hung out.
Matt, that weekend that just happened.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes. We meant to record this episode while we were all together in person, but none of us felt like it, so this is what we're doing now. We're meeting up after the fact, and we've had time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. So what were kind of some of the early, I don't know, not revelations, but early things you found while reading the series fresh off of the show?
Looking at the Wheel of Time through a queer lens, which is what we are doing with my kind of reread group, it's kind of the focus of it. Unfortunately, we're on the Shadow Rising right now, and it's been pretty slim pickings in terms of really finding those queer themes and those queer connections. So it's been an eye-opening experience in terms of we really have to reach for those connections. But I mean, some of the obvious ones I think that we all kind of honed in on right from the very beginning were Nynaeve, obviously just being Nynaeve,
right?
Just kind of a queer badass as she is. She's not queer, but what she represents to queer people.
Yeah.
That was really the first thing. the show has been awesome because it's obviously they've really appeased fans by diversifying the show and the cast and allowing there to be more space for queer representation and whatnot. So it's been a pleasant experience having Wheel of Time, this thing that we all love so much, most of us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to kind of like touch because we have talked a little bit about it on the show about like why Nynaeve is so kind of amazing and such a queer icon. And I remember us discussing a bit about how it comes back to her like just loyalty to people, regardless of who they are or whatever. Like even though Rand is the Dragon Reborn and sorry, spoilers. Even though Rand is the Dragon Reborn and is going to like destroy everybody, kind of. She's still like, no, he's still my Two Rivers guy. You will not fuck him over. Do not be that person.
Yeah.
So it's just like her loyalty to her friends and also she's a badass woman. So we stan a badass.
For me, something too is just the fact that she kind of like radiates chosen family energy, and she just kind of like, especially on the show, because she's not even in the show. She's not from the Two Rivers.
Right.
Oddly enough, and yet these are the people that she's found in her life, and she just loves them like unconditionally and is so loyal and protective, and she's like the mom that every queer kid wishes they had, and I think that's really why we just kind of gravitate towards her.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely cool to see Nynaeve in those early episodes, or in those early books, before she becomes like the extreme badass that she is. I don't know. Yeah. No, that's always. Were there any surprising moments in the very beginning of the series, like when you were reading that you're like, huh, that's very homo?
I'm one of the people that picked up on Moiraine and Swan like right away. So in my mind, they've always been like.
So when you were reading the books,
yeah,
it popped out.
Yeah, for the first time.
From when?
Because I don't know. I was 14 when I read the first few books for the first time, and I was just, I don't know, desperate for like queer anything. So I don't know.
So like from the second they were in the Great Hunt, you were like, they licked they pussies.
When they have that first scene in the Great Hunt where they meet each other, I was like, there is undertones here. Something's going on here. I just know.
Chad has magical homo powers.
I do. My gaydar is it's quite exceptional, actually.
Your gaydar is insane considering that.
It is. I've heard other people say that too, that they picked up on that from the beginning as well. So yes, again, going back to the show, the fact that they actually are together in the show and we get that steamy scene between them, Chad's homo heart, very, very happy by that.
Yeah, I remember doing part of the reread. I fell behind like 2 books ago, but I remember in the Great Hunt when Rand and Lan were on top of the tower, like sword fighting and stuff. I was like, this is gay.
Oh yeah,
this is super gay.
Yeah,
gay.
Also, the scene, I can't even remember what book it's in now. It's either Dragon Reborn or the Shadow Rising. I think it's Shadow Rising. Oh yeah, after is it full spoilers?
Yeah.
Okay. The scene where Rand gives Matt CPR after he comes down from the tree. Gay. That's gay porn. I'm sorry. Rand and Matt's lips touched. Gay porn. That's my interpretation of that.
Yeah, but that's like the getting the crumbs type of gay porn.
I don't care.
When you're starving, even a crumb will do.
Exactly. Their mouths canonically touch. Good enough for me.
And that's the kind of representation that we strive for. Do their lips touch while providing life-saving treatment? Homosexuals.
Porn.
Yes.
Porn.
Bros, is it gay to save your bro's life?
Yes.
I mean, they did not say no homo before.
Very true.
It's true.
Rand could have. He was conscious.
Rand had a chance to say no homo, and he didn't.
He decided not to.
Full homo, all the homo.
I am saddened by the fact that is our representation. That is our homo.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing with Wheel of Time, is that, like, it was progressive for its time in certain ways, but in terms of its queer representation, I mean, we're really scrounging for scraps, but...
Scrap me, daddy.
Yeah.
No, that's not the title of the episode. Scrap me, daddy. Jesus Christ. So, as we mentioned earlier, so we're recording this a few days after we just got back from a trip to Minneapolis together, where we all hung out.
To Minneapolis?
Minneapolis.
We were in
Minneapolis. And one of the things that we found there was the origins of the Wheel of Time before it came out.
Yeah, that was epic. We literally walked into Barnes and Noble, James and I at the front of the group, both of us eyes lock onto Origins. We both just run over, immediately pick it up, go buy it. Actually, before we bought it, we looked up who Nakomi was. That was the first thing we did. Yeah, that was pretty epic.
And then Matt just literally walked by the display, looked at it, and kept walking.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fake fan.
No shit's given. Fake fan.
So this won't be our full Origins episode because I'm sure we're going to do one on that. But we can talk a little bit about, because this isn't going to air until later this month. We can talk a little bit about what we found from there in with Nakomi, if we want to.
Sure.
She is Shaidar Haran.
She is actually Shaidar Haran. Yeah, that is accurate. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by the fact that fans were right. I mean, I've seen a few theories about who Nakomi was, and the prevailing theory is that she was an avatar of the creator, much the same way that Shaidar Haran was for the Dark One, and we were correct. Boom.
Right. And there's also more to it, which is that she's also, because another theory that was very, very popular before A Memory of Light was published was that she was one of the Gen Aiel.
Yes.
Which, also correct. So, I don't know. I thought that was really cool that why not both? ¿Por qué no los dos?
Yep.
Porque no les dos.
Wow, your Spanish is so good.
I'm part Mexican, so my pronunciation is actually the more correct one, inherently.
Right, actually.
Right, yeah.
And questioning it makes you a bigot.
Oh yeah, canceled on Twitter, both of us. You're a fake fan and I'm a bigot, apparently. 2 of the 3 canceled on Twitter.
This is what racism looks like.
Yeah. But it's interesting that, Jordan didn't leave any concrete, according to his notes and according to what's in Origins, Jordan didn't leave any, concrete answer as to who Nakomi was. He just kind of wrote her into the epilogue,
mm-hmm.
And that was really it. So Brandon Sanderson kind of interpreted the notes and the passage with Nakomi in it as she is an avatar of the creator, and he kind of made that decision. He also was the one who named her Nakomi. Jordan hadn't left a name for her.
Yeah, she was just Mysterious Woman.
Mysterious Woman that helps Rand.
Please welcome to the stage, Mysterious Woman.
Mysterious Woman. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. It's another one of those things where Brandon had to kind of interpret what little was left for him in Jordan's notes, and he didn't want to make the decision canonically in the text. He wanted to leave it kind of a mystery for us, and I'm glad he did, because it led to a decade of questioning and fans reeling.
Yeah, it was.
I just had to Google what the Gen Aiel were.
I will literally slap you. If we had recorded this in person on the weekend, I would have actually slapped you right there.
No, that's assault.
I would commit assault.
It's not assault when you're dumb.
Yeah, true. There's a reason for it.
It's not assault when you deserve it.
That is not a legal defense. That is not a legal defense.
Well, sorry, life's hard for you.
I would claim insanity, because you saying that would have driven me insane, so I would have gotten off.
It's okay. Chad, do you want to know...
You have gotten off, huh?
Oh my god, Matthew. Do you want to do that right now? Want to expose our behind-the-scenes romance?
Ew.
What were you saying, James?
Having seen you two interact for the better part of a week, no thank you.
No thank you.
I completely forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, I was going to say, Chad, if that made you angry... there was a point in the podcast where Matt forgot which of the 5 powers men were stronger with and which of the powers women were stronger with.
Okay, fire and earth are men.
Please stop.
And air benders and water benders are the Aes Sedai.
I need you to be quiet for a moment.
Ladies, women.
I know this is only patrons are gonna see the face that I just made. So for all of the people just listening, I just gave the hardest "please shut the fuck up" face.
It was your regular face. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's true.
That's true, but there was an extra little bit of fire behind it.
Yeah. Okay, other than the fact that you said benders for some reason, you were correct, I suppose.
The airbenders, the firebenders, the earthbenders, the spirit benders.
Benders is slang for homosexuals, so that's what I meant, clearly.
Clearly?
Yeah.
Clearly that's what you meant?
Clearly.
I mean, queerly. Does that mean every channeler is queer then? They're all queer then?
I mean, and according to Robert Jordan...
No, just the benders like Galad and Moraine and Swan.
Like Galad?
I don't know what's happening.
I don't either. I'm just
I mean, if we're gonna go into like Jordan's notes a little bit, Glad actually was supposed to be a channeler, so
Oh.
he was originally intended to be. He was originally intended to discover that he could channel, and then that would make him like he and Rand were gonna be like rivals, and
Yep.
he was gonna have a much bigger role.
It was also
So he could have banged Rand. Wait.
Well, they're
Nope.
brothers.
they're half brothers.
Nope.
This isn't Game of Thrones.
Let's strike that.
They're half brothers. It's fine.
Oh, that's the title of the episode. They're half brothers. It's fine.
They're half brothers. It's fine. That
Um,
is a good one.
yeah, because originally I remember, and I haven't read all of it yet, but Galad, because Rand was supposed to sleep with Morgaze.
Mhm.
And so Morgaze, Matt, is the Queen of Andor,
Yes, I know who Morgas is.
Elaine's mom.
Morgoth.
Morgoth?
Do you know who her daughter is?
Boring.
Oh, shots fired. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, no.
Also accurate, though.
Oh?
No, yeah.
Okay, let's not get into this. I'm not a complete Elaine apologist, but I don't think she's boring. I think the circumstances in which she was written in were boring. Boom.
So she's boring.
No, she's not boring as a character.
Right, she's born by a proxy.
She's entertaining. She's funny.
Galad is the only interesting Trickhand offshoot spawn child.
I'll agree with that. So yes, and also, so Galad was originally supposed to be a rival for Rand, but one of the things we found out was Nynaeve was supposed to die and then come back, but not be correct or not say that she died. Like I think she was gonna like fake it, but she was actually resurrected by the Dark One, and then she was working for the Dark One.
Yeah.
And that kind of transferred over to Moraine in the sense that she died, didn't die. But honestly, like I would love an evil Nynaeve.
Theoretically, I love that. And I like that we got kind of like, I don't know if this was Sanderson kind of putting in a nod to that, but we do get the scene when Rand's battle with the Dark One, where Rand sees Nynaeve as a Forsaken,
Right.
which is, I just love that. Like the image of Nynaeve as a Forsaken is just fabulous. So I don't know if that was Sanderson, like, kind of nodding towards like potential evil Nynaeve. But I do love that scene where Nynaeve is a Forsaken. It makes my heart happy for some reason.
Because we kind of have talked a little bit about like what was Kat's thing, Matt?
I can fix her.
I can fix her, but I can make her worse or something because
No, yeah. I can make them worse. Cat can fix her.
Yeah, but Kat made Nynaeve worse by Semirage.
Oh, yeah.
Because Semirage was going to, in Kat's story, Semirage was going to show her the ways of healing, and then there was something that she couldn't heal, so she had to like show her evil things, and then Nynaeve was like, I like this. And then Semirage made Nynaeve like kill Lan.
Oh no.
As like a symbol of her devotion or something, and she did it, and I was like, I'm kind of here for it. I know that's not this series, but I would read that fanfic.
Same.
But yeah, no, that was definitely a lot of interesting reveals. I have an ongoing list of things where I'm just like page numbers and putting brief notes about what I want to talk about as I read through it, but there's so much in there.
I haven't read really any of it yet, other than like a couple things that I've like specifically gone in to find. So maybe by the time that episode airs, I'll have read. Also, I'm a bad friend and I'm not a patron, but after this, maybe I'll go become a patron to support my friends, because I'm a bad friend and I'm not a patron yet. So when that episode comes out, I will listen to it, and I will have read Origins by then, I imagine.
Good. At least you will not be a failure.
Mm-hmm.
We can cross-promote each other. Chad can promote our patron, and we can promote Chad's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Just for fans.
I don't actually have OnlyFans.
Just for fans.
Just for fans.
Where is my notes? Because I wanted to share. Like, some of my notes from everything are just ridiculous. Oh yeah, and Moraine was supposed to be Amerlin.
Yeah. I mean, that one's pretty obvious, because I think we knew that already. I think in the notes that were kind of revealed a long time ago, Moraine was supposed to become Amerlin, and then he ended up splitting that character into Moraine and Swan, because he realized that she couldn't do everything that he wanted her to do, so he needed to make two characters.
I did like Jordan originally making the Ogier like Tolkien's dwarves, That is not a comparison that I made before reading that, but stonework, reclusive, like, because that was part of it. Because originally they were really, really short and had beards and everything, and so I think it's very interesting that Ogier came from dwarves.
That is very interesting.
I would not put two and two together.
No.
That makes sense because the ways, in some ways, comes from Moria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Shadar Logoth and the ways both come. They're both reminiscent of Moria.
Yeah, I think Shadar Logoth more so, but I definitely see it.
Connection.
Like the backstory of like something beautiful created that became corrupted by evil.
Yeah.
See, I'm useful sometimes.
Congratulations, Matt.
Yeah, just not when it comes to the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, you made a Lord of the Rings reference. Congratulations.
Yay!
Yeah, normally that's my job.
Yeah.
Yay, I'm proud. I out James did James. Anyways.
Honey,
Are you okay?
is she okay?
I may have had a gummy last night.
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
Yeah.
A singular?
Yeah, those nighttime version gummies, they hit ya. Let me tell ya.
Yeah, those were a little different than the daytime gummies.
I don't think I did a night one. I did daytime and
You did a daytime on the second time.
Yeah.
When it hit you differently.
I never did a night one though.
Velocipaster was daytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, Velocipaster was the daytime gummies.
Yes. And that was an experience.
Troll 2 was the regular gummy.
Yes.
And for anybody who is not in the state of Minnesota listening, this was all perfectly legal
Yeah.
when we did it.
It was.
In the state of Minnesota. So,
I mean, it's also legal here in Washington State, so...
Also legal here in Toronto.
Therefore, we are discussing nothing but legal activity.
Yep. Also, before anyone comes for me for saying Toronto, people in Toronto say Toronto. Nobody from Toronto says Toronto. You say Toronto, it's a very clear indicator that you are not familiar with Toronto.
No, yeah.
I'm from Toronto.
Toronto.
No, that is one of the things that you can tell about people from here. There's a suburb called Renton, and no one says Renton, they say Renton.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody says Renton, then, oh, where are you from?
Yeah.
Because it's not here.
Speaking of pronunciations, can I just call back to a couple minutes ago where James said Semiragi?
It's because I've heard...
What is that about?
I know.
James was mocking me.
Semiragi.
Semiragi is how, I think Kat also says it that way.
What?
So it's something that is like in my brain because I don't say that name very often. Because when I read it, it's Semiraj.
Yeah.
But when I hear it spoken out loud, or if I say it out loud, I want to say Semiragi because...
I've never heard of that before. I love it.
I used to pronounce it Semiragi before I got made fun of for it.
You don't count, Matt.
I mean, you're also the one that said Bridget.
Oh, God.
You don't count, Chad. Fuck you.
My brother actually called Egwene Eugene for the first 6 books that he read. So he fully just thought her name was Eugene. So that's interesting.
Bless his heart.
I mean...
It's not like a huge stretch, I guess, but...
Some of the names in Jordan's notes from Origins were really weird. Like... Oh, God, now you're going to make me pull it up.
I know that a lot of characters, the names they ended up with were not the names that they started with. Most of them.
Right. Moraine is kind of the only one that, like, stayed the same, I think.
Yeah, I think it was just spelled differently.
Yeah. Nynaeve was Nyneve, so Nynaeve.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see what else there is.
Also, Min was going to be a little hoe.
Min was going to be a hoe.
She was going to be a little hoe. She was going to seduce Rand and sleep with him not long after meeting him.
In Barrelon.
Yeah, like, basically met him and was like, that dick, I want it. Hopping on.
I mean, who doesn't?
Fair.
Right? Like, it was interesting reading that entire sex scene.
Yes, because that passage is actually included in Origins. So it's not just like, oh, Min was going to be a hoe. Like, you get to read her seduce him and hop on that dick.
It was like 2 pages.
Yeah.
It was an entire thing.
I don't remember that scene, but to be fair, none of the scenes I do remember are sex scenes because
Matthew?
Because RJ and romance and sex scenes were not my cuppa.
So Matt, the reason you might not remember that scene is because it didn't happen.
Oh.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about, Maddie. It's a scene that was in Origins.
I thought the scene was in the books, but You said the Origins talked about it.
No,
The scene was going to be in the books in Barrelon.
but in Origins, a scene that Jordan had.
You mean Bear Lane?
No, that's a person.
Yeah.
Robert Jordan, why do you do this to us?
Oh, Lord.
Are you still high?
No.
I think he might be.
Okay.
I'm not high at all, I promise.
No, Barrelon was the city that they went, the first city that they went to right after they left Amon's Field, where they met Min, and Nynaeve caught up with them. And in that scene, or originally, Min was going to sleep with Rand in the hay barn, because there's a specific line about him like picking straw out of his clothes after it was done.
And like one of his thoughts is like, "Oh no, like I'm an innocent boy. I can't do this." And she's like, "No, you will."
Yeah, it was a little rapey.
Oh, Bearlawn.
Yes, Barrelon, good. And Barrelane.
No, you said Bearlawn.
Yeah, Bearlawn. What you just?
No, you said Bearlawn, I said Bearlawn.
I think you're saying the same thing.
You're saying the same word.
Yeah, but like, when you said Bear Lawn, I was like thinking Bear Lane and as opposed to Bear Lawn.
So
There's a subtle difference. There's a very subtle difference.
Okay.
So I am once again, I am right, and I am not to be made fun of.
Christ.
Do you see what they have to deal with every episode, Chad?
Yeah, I might have to go listen to all of these.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you don't listen to our episodes.
You haven't listened to any of them?
I listened to the first one. I listened to the first two. I actually got them before they were released.
Oh yeah.
And I listened to them, so suck on that. Haven't listened to one, so suck on that. I know.
Chad's making a very gay face right now.
Yeah, that's fair. It usually happens. Yeah, I will. I'll go become a patron. I will listen to the episodes.
Pledge at the $20 a month so we can keep talking about you every single episode.
Oh shit, I need to do a book review for the last one.
If you pledge at 20, we say your name in every episode, and we'll say Chadacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll just say Chatterbox.
Have you ever talked about me before on the podcast?
We have.
Oh,
A few times.
saying what?
That you're a bitch.
Okay, that's fair. What else?
That we hate you.
No, we brought up your reread a few times.
Oh, cute.
Do I remember specifics? No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, worth talking about, not worth remembering. Love that.
I talk about a lot of things that I don't remember.
This is very true.
Fair.
Y'all have goldfish memories.
Says,
Again, I'm making the face that you can't see, but
I just don't understand how you can be so hateful and so full of lies and then be such a whiny bitch when someone calls you on it.
I am not. I am totally innocent. This is all cover up. This is a bigger cover up than January 6th. I am a total innocent.
And just like January 6th, we saw all of that happen.
yeah, it's well documented.
Fake? It's fake news.
It is.
Okay, Trump.
Anyways,
Do we regret that yet?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I was looking at.
Oh, fun fact. Just because we're dishing the tea, I don't know if it's a Matt thing or if it's a Minneapolis thing, but apparently lanes are suggestions when driving.
yeah, some of the streets they have like the dotted yellow lines, but it's just one in the middle of the road, and our dear friend Matt chose not to adhere to that.
No, chose to view that as where the center of the lane is. That's what you drove on.
They're talking about Grand Avenue, which used to be a lovely, wide, two-lane street, and the city, in its infinite stupidity, decided to implement this new, really weird, curvy system of medians and boulevards that makes it easier to just drive down the center unless another car is coming, because it's so windy and it's so obnoxious.
Again, easier, but legal?
Would you have rather I gave you whiplash by zigzagging the car around to follow the lanes?
I'm just saying, it wasn't just on that street.
Yes, it was.
Damn,
I'm a good driver, thank you.
you are a good driver, Matt.
We didn't die.
Yeah, I didn't get car sick. I get car sick, and that didn't happen. So
And I didn't get Chad carsick.
yeah,
So I shan't tolerate this abuse towards my character.
I do think this allegory of the lines existing and Matt choosing not to drive within them is a good allegory for the Wheel of Time, because you're on a Wheel of Time podcast, and yet you choose not to. Well, you're just not as big of a fan as
I've read.
the other people involved.
She said, "Oh no, I'm sorry. You're just not that big of a fan."
You're not a complete fake fan, but you're...
I love the Wheel of Time. I love the fandom and the friends that I've made, except for Chad and James, more than I love.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if I was going to make the cut there.
I love Camille. Can we talk about Camille? We all love Camille. I don't think anyone knows Camille and doesn't love them. Okay, that silence was pointed.
No, I was just trying to think because you said...
That silence was very pointed.
No, Camille, I love you. No, I was thinking about how lots of people don't like Camille, but they don't know them. So, like, they get a lot of, like, hate on Twitter and stuff. And I'm like, but then I was like...
Well, that's what I'm saying. People that have met them.
Right.
Love them.
Yes, Camille is lovely. But Kat, not being talked about here, is going to post fuck my drag, right?
Oh, we also love her. I just met Kat, though. I've only met her over video twice.
Yeah.
But you live in Canada, though.
Yeah, Canada.
Yeah, we actually both live in Toronto, but I've never met her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you live in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Same thing.
Yeah. You know, Canada, just a block around the corner, Alberta. Live around the street from Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, she's in BC. You guys both live in Canada, the second largest country in the world. Why don't you see each other more often?
Yeah, it's quite a large landmass, Matthew.
Okay, no, look, I love all my co-hosts, I love Chad, and I love the Wheel of Time. It's just that unlike most Twitter of Time people who finish their Wheel of Time read and then immediately start with the Eye of the World again,
That's the only way to do it.
I finished the Wheel of Time and started reading something else.
You finished the Wheel of Time and said, no, ma'am.
And that's blasphemous. That's blasphemous.
I finished it once and I said, five years from now, ma'am.
I always read the Wheel of... I have the Wheel of Time just constantly going along with other things. It's like a comfort thing.
Yeah, I'm like that too.
And it's normally the Eye of the World just because that's my comfort book.
I just don't understand how someone can finish A Memory of Light and not immediately go back and read it. You don't have to reread like the whole series, but like I always, even if I'm not intending to like reread the whole series after I finish it, I always go back and just read even the first couple chapters of Eye of the World because it's like it's the only thing that fills the void that's left in your soul.
Is it the only thing that fills the void, though?
Yeah, that's... See, Chad, I've been doing... This is my 20th episode recording with Matt, so I know not to say things like void, but if you're ever a guest again...
Okay, you're just as bad as I am.
If you're ever a guest again, I'll give you a list of words. I should have that prepared for all of our guests.
Blacklisted words. Okay.
Yeah, just words you shouldn't say unless you want.
Chad listed words.
That one was a stretch, but I'll give it to you because you're high.
That was a bit of a stretch.
I'm not high.
That's not the only thing that was a stretch.
You're residually high.
See, James does it too.
I preempted you.
I was not going to say that.
Okay.
I am a good little Christian boy, and I don't make those sorts of references.
You are like iron deficient. You are weak.
I am not iron deficient. I had a whole steak at the George and the Dragon pub.
Yeah, you are like...
That's just always my response when Matt's being weird. I just say, did you take your iron tablet today?
I have forgotten to take my vitamin D because I'm vitamin D deficient because I'm from the South. And
yeah, you are.
Yeah, I know what you were going to do with that. But, I'm going to take the mature path and say that...
This is not a mature podcast.
Well, she's taking the high road, but
You're not a mature podcast.
Oh, never mind.
She's taking the high road because the low road isn't an option. No.
Anyways, the Wheel of Time.
The Wheel of Time turns and ages come and pass.
So yeah, something I would love to say while I have this opportunity to shamelessly and selfishly plug my own group. As I've said, finding queer things in the Wheel of Time is a struggle. So if anyone wants to come and help, please do so. Because usually I have to do it by myself. And not easy.
Having friends makes it easier.
Yeah.
You're starting with... What book are you on right now? You're on The Shadow Rising, or are you just finishing that?
Yeah. We're like halfway through.
Okay.
And we just took a bit of a break because I went off.
Gallivanted off to Europe.
Gallivanting across the country, across the world. Country. Okay.
Across the country of Europe.
The world.
But we are starting back up soon. We're going to do a little meeting on... I don't know. I think it'll have happened already, but on November 6th, we're going to have a meeting to just kind of discuss moving forward and do like a little recap, and then we'll probably start in like mid to late November. Will be when we start meetings again. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I promise you that I will support your endeavor through
Retweets.
saying "Go Chad" and retweeting you, because I cannot promise to.
Oh, thanks.
I'm 3 books behind at this point, so
Yeah, I will say, my little group is how I met James, Matt, and Kenny, and none of them lasted very long. I think Matt and James both tapped out in book 1, or James made it.
No, I tapped out in book 2.
Okay,
I tapped out in book 2.
okay, and Kenny made it to book 3, and then they went on vacation and got way behind, and then kind of tapped out as well. But they actually are caught up now, so they might be joining again, which is cool.
Well, it's good that there will be a responsible adult during these rereads.
Yeah, we need a guiding hand.
Literally. Oh no, Camilla's older than Chad. Never mind. So normally we do a game.
It's the game.
We do, if you listen to our episodes, you would know that.
I know there's some kind of game with people and you name characters and stuff, something like that. Is that thing?
Wow, so specific. No, I was gonna play a slightly different game just because we're all decrepit whores. Well, aspiring whores. And I'm gonna name a location from the Wheel of Time, and you are going to tell me what STD you think you would get there.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
Wow, that was so gay.
we're gonna start out real easy and just go with the Wine Spring Inn. Oh, so Matt, the Wine Spring Inn is from
Yes, I know what it is, you stupid bitch.
Where is it?
It's in Two Rivers.
Wow.
What town in the Two Rivers?
Emmons Field.
Okay, she got it.
10 out of 10. Now, STD,
I'm sorry, STI is the proper.
STI.
Mad cow disease.
Is that an
Is that
STI?
an STD? STD?
I feel like you wouldn't get an STD at Emmons Field because, like, there's so few people in Emmons Field that, like, you fuck one person and then that's who you're with for life because there's nobody else.
Yeah, they're also very, like, into propriety and stuff, and so they're probably not sleeping around a whole lot.
I mean, not in the show. They're not. They fucked.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna say like.
I'm gonna say gonorrhea.
Oh,
Is that intense?
I think that's a little hard for. I was gonna say like crabs or something.
Okay, crab.
I would say none.
Yeah, I know. My true answer is none. I don't feel like they would have. Unless Maureen bought it from coming out of town and brought it herself.
And Maureen fucked everybody.
Yeah.
Just let me get to know your people through sexual court.
Or Rand got it from Min and then he took it back.
Oh, brought it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm literally coming up with these off the top of my head. So, how about Shale Ghoul?
Oh, AIDS. Darkness. The darkest of the dark AIDS.
Just straight up. Not even. It doesn't start as HIV. It's full blown AIDS.
Yeah, straight up AIDS. Full blown.
Oof.
Yeah, no, that's gotta be like the darkest one, no?
I mean, yeah.
The ways.
But no one's in the ways
Yeah.
It's true. And Camelin doesn't have any gay bathhouses that we know of.
that we know of.
I mean, Galad frequented them, I'm sure, but
I'm sure.
okay, next one. Let's do just Tarbalon. What is running rampant in there?
Clap.
Yeah.
The pussy warts.
Yeah, I'll agree. Because you know all the novices and the young warders in training, they're all sleeping together.
Yeah,
Tarvalon, more like Horvalon.
that was a reach. But I appreciate it. Okay, one more. I was gonna say the Stone of Tyr, but I'm like, there's literally nothing I can think of.
Ooh, what about, oh god, now I'm a fake fan. What's the capital of, Ardaman?
Ebudar?
Ebudar? No. Ebudar is, the other one.
Terabon?
Altara? Isn't Ebudar an Altara?
Altar is a Pokemon.
Honey,
Wait, no, that's Altaria.
that's Altaria.
No, I was like, is it?
Look, all these fucking fantasy names. You can't keep track of them all.
What's the capital of Ardaman? Because that's where all the women are like little hubs. I feel like they would have some pretty good STIs there.
Bandar Eben?
Bandar Eben. Okay, Bandar Eben.
Okay, well, no one knows or cares what that is.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What about?
That's my drag. Wow, this is very discriminatory towards your guest.
Yeah, well,
Look, I can't help it that I have a prejudice against short Canadians. So,
Did we?
wow.
I don't know what to say to that.
Let's talk about Ibudar. Let's do that as the last one. That's where they have their knives. So, there's a lot of blood play.
Monkeypox.
You know what?
Do they have a high gay population in Salidar?
I feel like they would.
Yeah, I think they would too.
Lots of like slutty dresses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Monkeypox. Actually, yeah, maybe we should next time we should reverse engineer this and be like, where would you get gonorrhea?
Camelin.
That would work as well. Camelin.
I would say monkeypox for Camelin because Camelin seems like the gayest.
Does it seem like the gayest? Okay, what's the gayest city or place? I feel like
Tarvalon.
Okay, but that's lesbians. That's different.
It's true. Lesbians don't count.
I feel like the gayest. It's not a place, but I feel like the Tinkers would be the gayest. They're also a bunch of hippies. And also, they probably don't bathe very often because they're just traveling a lot, so they probably have water.
Okay, so that's where you get crabs.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying lesbians don't count before all of our listeners get mad at me.
Mhm.
I'm just saying I was talking about the homosexual male gayest, not the lesbian gayest, because we all know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It's Salidar, which is named after a woman.
Tossing that Salidar.
Sapphic Salidar.
Mm-hmm.
Tossing that Salidar might be the title of the episode.
I like it.
Yay.
I approve.
And that makes me mad.
Kimmy's going to be so mad.
All right. Well, this was wonderful. Chad, where can people find you on the internet?
I am the Queerin to Viren. It's a nightmare to spell, so just link it in the
Weirin to Viren.
the queer N to Viren. Like a play on words, I don't know. It's like queer apostrophe EN, as in queer N, and then to Viren. That's what I am on Twitter and Discord. Pretty much it.
Yeah. And the link to the queer reread is in your Twitter or something. We'll put it on the description for this episode as well.
Yeah, it's in my Twitter bio, and yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Queers of Time podcast. If you liked our show, please give us a review on Apple Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Queers of Time, as well as our Discord server. If you're able, we would love to have your support through Patreon. I am saying it Patreon because Val is the one that didn't want us to say Patreon, didn't want me to say Patreon. So I'm going to say Patreon a million times instead of Patreon. Patreon.
Well, that's also wrong, so.
Okay, give us money, bitches. It helps us. Thank you. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been so fun hanging out with y'all.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.